my wonderful people. It's that time of year where we got to do our contractual obligations, just like Jay Slat says. Wonderful man. Well, you know what time it is. We have a channel sponsor. Thank you to W.GG, which offers a wide variety of just wonderful energy drinks, from s'mores to oil to Cali O cream. Absolutely delicious. They also offer caffeine-free options, which are just hydration drinks. They also offer water bottles, other merch too. Please grab the code down in the description, ThtCanPod, and get 15 or 25% off. I'll put it down below. I already forgot while I'm making this, but please use it. It'd mean the world to us. Go to w.gg and at checkout use our code for a discount. Gabby, what are we doing today?
We are talking with Papa Maple.
Papa Maple. Oh, okay. Okay. That's a new one. What about Grandpa
I don't
Maple?
want Father Maple. No, but I like Papa.
Okay. Okay.
It's an American thing. You wouldn't understand.
Well, my dad's British, so that's debatable. Dad, what do you do? Introduce yourself and say hello.
Hello. I'm a high school English teacher.
Yes, you are.
I
That's
am.
kind of
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. Sure is.
Why does Noah suck at English then?
Yeah, it's just the way it is. I don't know. Default. I don't know. Many
Default
teachers,
settings.
kids suck at the subject they teach. It's just the way it is. I don't know.
It's genetic.
It's just, well, sure. Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't say genetic if he's smarter than you.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks, Gabby. Thanks.
It's
You're
just
welcome.
what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, Dad, today
Yep.
we are talking about gaming. Um Obviously versus when you were growing up and how it's changed now. What's your perspective on that? How are you feeling now versus back then when it was first introduced and it was still becoming a thing? Where now it's pretty common.
Yeah, I mean everybody games now, or at least on your phone for sure. But having a platform to play on with PlayStation, Xbox, I suppose Nintendo is still a thing, but the graphics, of course, are the biggest difference. Gameplay is phenomenal compared to what it used to be. But I suppose the biggest change is the ability to save. I think would probably be the biggest change for me, because I can remember playing Mario, Super Mario Brothers,
You guys
and
pronounce it as
Mario, yeah.
No.
yes, and not being able to save. So you would, in order to defeat Bowser, you'd have to play for like 12 hours, or leave the machine running, because there was no. I mean, there's a pause, yes, but you couldn't turn it off, or you would lose your progress. So there was no ability to save in the early with the early Nintendo. So that's of course a huge difference, because then when I never had a Super NES. From regular Nintendo, I went to a GameCube, and then the GameCube had the option to save.
Yeah, with the what
With the
maximum
memory
1 gigabyte
cards,
per
yeah,
card?
something like that. Yeah. So of course that is, no pun intended, literally a game changer, being able to do that, because then you can play for, half an hour and stop, versus playing for, 12 hours straight.
I have a
Which,
quick question.
yeah.
So where you were talking about just a minute ago with like the graphics and everything, would you say today's graphics make gaming, better, or do you miss more the simple graphics?
I mean, they do make them better because they're more realistic. There's like I play first person shooters. Call of Duty is my thing.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
I've
very
heard
good.
about your allergy
I'm not
issues.
very
I've
good at
heard
it,
all about it.
but that doesn't matter. It's all about
It's about having fun and enjoying
enjoyability.
yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm certainly not going to be entering, let alone winning any tournaments, but that doesn't matter. I still enjoy playing the game. And that's really what's supposed to matter. I'm not very good at it, but I'm certainly better than I was when I first started. But back to the original question, the graphics, yeah, absolutely. I was playing Call of Duty today, and there's depth. You can see, the map, one map that I was on, there's a train car, and then behind that, there's another train car and another train car, and you can see through the train cars to shoot people. Whereas, um, in the first person shooter game that I used to play was Contra, which was, original Nintendo. There's no depth because it didn't exist. It's just simple pixels and uh, there's no depth to the game. You either went from side to side or up and down the screen, just like Mario. It's this, or Mario, however you want to pronounce it. Um, the same thing. That's all that you did. Whereas, with the graphics, it's three-dimensional,
Mhm.
as much as it can be anyway for um, a PlayStation game. I still work on a PlayStation 4, and I know that the PlayStation 5 is even better graphics. So when I eventually move up to a PS5, I'm going to be blown away by the graphics of that, but I'm quite satisfied with a PS4 compared to, like I said, the original Nintendo system that I used to play on. So um, I remember we had a PS2, and I used to play, I think it was Siphon Filter. I think that was um, one of the games that I had. And I thought the graphics on that were really good at the time until we moved up to the next platform, PS3. And then suddenly it's like, wow, it's just so much better. Um,
Now,
it just, yeah,
for
each time, yeah,
for the people, obviously, when you had a PS2, you know, well, when we had a PS2, I was already born. I'm the youngest of four. For
yeah.
context, so you didn't, just for the people at home. He's talking about it, as an adult versus as a kid now.
Yeah, I was an adult when I got my first even Nintendo. I was an adult. I wasn't a kid. So yeah, I was in my 20s when I bought my first gaming system. I did play computer games on my Commodore 64, um, and that would take forever to load, um, and the graphics were terrible. But um, when you go to a gaming system like even Nintendo with its simple graphics, just the fact that it doesn't take forever to load is such a big difference from playing on like a Commodore 64, which I do realize that the computers today, playing computer games on them, there's very quick load time. So
That's actually
um
one of the questions I was going to ask you was, do you by chance, just like kind of like an estimate, do you remember how long it used to take for games to like load or save versus now?
from are you talking on my Commodore 64
Just
or
in
on
general.
my
Just
on
in
the
general. Yeah, like
so
on
I
how different it is from back then versus now with,
oh
loading and saving games.
yeah, even going from a PS2 to a PS4, it's so much faster. I wouldn't say it's instantaneous, but it's pretty close. Whereas I can remember when you were playing um, like Siphon Filter, for instance. I'll go back to that. When you completed a level, the screen would go dark and then it would load, and I would say maybe somewhere between 30 seconds to a minute of just saving and updating and loading the next level. Whereas now it's not instantaneous, but it's pretty close. And even when you're playing online, it's still fast compared to, like I said, the original PlayStation and saving. Saving on GameCube, you actually had to tell it to save, and then it would save, and it would take, again, like, a minute to save. And then to load games would be the same kind of thing. Whereas now, once the system is running, it, instantaneous. I
It
know
saves
there's a delay,
automatically.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know there is a delay, but it's not really, for somebody who's used to waiting, on my computer when I originally played games, I would literally load the game and then go and make tea and come back for the game to be started. That's was the way things used to be. It would take minutes, several of them, like 3, 4, 5 minutes to load a game. So you had plenty of downtime in your gameplay, unlike today, where like I said, there's very little downtime.
And obviously back then you were also dealing with dial-up and whatnot, even if you wanted to play on multiplayer, right? You know,
Yes.
it was still a couple minutes just to even get online.
So multiplayer back then, wasn't it? You had to be like almost like in the same room.
Well, yeah. Well, we did play multiplayer in the same room. We would have multiple PS2s playing in the same room, and you're playing with each other, private matches, as opposed to the gameplay that you have today. Um, I do remember playing. I don't remember what platform it was. I guess it was. I did play World at War. Well, yeah, we had the Wii,
Yeah,
didn't
we
we?
had the Wii. So we
Yeah, we
had
did.
GameCube.
And yeah,
We had
and then we got the
PS2.
Wii. Yeah,
Um, Obviously the Wii, PS3, PS4,
yeah,
and the Wii U.
and the Wii U.
Yep.
Yes, which yeah. So the gameplay on the Wii, um, I do remember playing online with that, and it was faster than Nintendo, but still slow. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all,
Well,
the difference is I'm operating from a um stance where I came from nothing. Like, there was no internet, whereas you were born into the world with the internet.
mhm.
So, everything for me, the next one is faster. Whereas for you, you only see it as, oh my goodness, it's so slow.
Well,
Um,
yes, but like looking back, even on the PS2, granted, I don't remember playing any multiplayer games on the PS2, but
right.
the game that I played the most was Battlefront. Um,
Yeah. Star Wars. Yeah.
yeah. And the load times for that were ridiculously slow
They were.
compared to
Yeah.
now.
Sure.
And you also had to deal with game freezes, crashes.
Yeah.
And now they're increasingly rare. Where your game crashes or freezes because everything's just better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess more stable, I guess, is the system is what it is now
Yeah.
compared to, yeah.
so I know that you guys were just kind of listing off the different types of gaming systems you guys have had. Would you say, Noah, that I guess more so, would you say that your love for gaming came from your dad?
No, I I would say that it came from my brother Tristan.
So was gaming ever like a bonding thing between you guys, or just
Yeah, we didn't really play together until what?
Well, any of the
until Ghosts.
well, for you, because you were younger, because I was playing first person shooter games, you were too young to play those.
Besides Star Wars.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't because Star Wars isn't real.
Yeah.
So it was easier,
And there
or
was
we
no
would
blood.
play, or we would play like Crash Bandicoot or
That too.
or Mario Kart or anything like that together. We would play those together. But yeah, I would say your older brother, we would play. I would play more with him because you were too young at the time for the first person shooters. So.
Yeah.
So do you guys play anything right now together?
Go ahead, Dad.
Well, I still play Call of Duty, but they don't have the Call of Duty, what is it, 6 and 7, which just came out. 7 just came out in
Talking about
Are we talking about
November.
Black Ops?
Yes.
Sorry, Black Ops, not Call of Duty.
So you have
you don't have the ability to play split screen anymore. That stopped with Vanguard.
Yeah.
Which is,
it's silly.
I don't know the reasoning behind it. But that would be what we would play, is we'd play split screen. Now it means in order for us to play together, we have to play on our own systems and then, play in a party, which is fine. But even your brother, he likes to play what is
brothers.
it, Warzone?
No,
he likes to.
Both brothers like to play Battlefield.
Sure. Yeah, they like to play Battlefield. Yes, but when we play, because I don't have Battlefield, when we play together, I'm still playing Call of Duty or Modern Warfare, and they like to play Warzone. Because I'm not very good. I rely on I rely on being revived a lot, which is a real drag for Warzone, because obviously you don't want to do that. So I get left behind, and
I'll do it for you.
I'm
what
dead.
do you mean?
So,
I love Warzone.
Well, he will run around even on TDM with this humongous LMG that has the worst ADS time. That's his thing. The bigger the gun, the better.
The bigger the gun,
spray and pray. That's literally the definition of him. He'll walk into a room, knows there's a guy in there, doesn't know where, and he'll just start shooting until he gets a hit marker, and then he aims in on that. It's ridiculous. It makes me mad because it's such a waste of ammo. But he runs around. It's
not my ammo.
No, exactly.
I'm paying for it.
Yeah. It's a game at the end of the day. But he runs around with Scavenger and a bunch of other things. For those that don't know what Scavenger is, it's the ability to collect ammo off of dead bodies, regardless of the ammo type. So he'll run around just spraying an LMG, and up until recently, what was it, Black Ops 4? They started to learn how to dolphin dive and get down on the ground when shooting somebody.
Sure, I can get down on the ground. I have not got into the sliding and shooting thing. It's just the crouch. Apparently, if you crouch,
it's harder for people to hit you.
It's harder for people to hit you, right? Which I've mastered that now. So
I wouldn't say mastered, but you definitely are getting better at it.
In my mind, I've mastered it.
Practice makes perfect. It's okay.
But unfortunately, Gabby, like last time when we were talking with Thomas about the difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield, Call of Duty, it's becoming a lot more mainstream to get down on the ground now, right? There's a lot more players doing it versus Battlefield. There's multiple other tactics because you're having to worry about more than just one thing.
Right.
It's Call of Duty is definitely one of those things now, Dad. Would you agree that it's constantly evolving in more ways than one, but the general tactics for how you play stay the same?
How I play, or how people in general play?
People in general. Could be you, anybody else, whatever.
I mean, people run around. I don't. So there's
that is true. Yeah.
I do like camping. You know,
Mhm.
it is quite
Mhm.
fun for me.
Mhm.
You know, staying in the same spot because if I killed two people there once, chances are pretty good I could kill two
Oh
people there
Lord.
again. You know,
Yep.
so why not?
Yeah.
Wait, so
Um,
you camp?
Oh yeah. No, he camps. Yeah.
sure, yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Gabby, you remember last episode when we were talking about the big castle map on Ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dad, where did you like to camp on that map?
On the castle,
Yeah,
refresh
with your
memory.
LSAT.
Um,
It's the British castle.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the far, yeah. There's the far corners, yeah, with
Yep.
a with the telescope. Yeah,
With the LSAT right out in the open,
right,
and he'd shoot people
absolutely,
across the map. And
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
and on my end, you would be hearing them extremely mad because they're like, "Why the hell is this guy just sitting there camping?"
Yeah, yeah, and I would just laugh because why not? Why wouldn't I?
That would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he just literally sits there and camps the entire game. And
well, because the chances are greater I'm going to get killed if I'm running around. So, you know,
100%,
but
especially for somebody that only runs around with an LSAT and Ghosts,
right,
the LSAT being obviously the best LMG that you could have in Ghosts, but by far the heaviest one that you could possibly have.
right. But when you're not running around, it doesn't matter how much it weighs.
Oh, true, 100%. Yeah.
It matters, you know, how big the cartridge is and how many bullets you've got till
Yep.
you have to reload.
Yep. Yep.
If you can get 150 rounds into somebody, chances are pretty good you're going to kill them.
Yep. Yep.
Though not guaranteed, but still, yeah.
Yep. Now, Dad, growing up, you went to arcades, yes?
Yep.
Yep. Do you miss arcades versus now? Having that atmosphere of people that share passion in playing games and will go out sometimes out of their way just to go to this location where they can hang out with other people, via friends or random strangers just to play. Versus now
I
where it's
I do
all
miss,
online.
yeah, the randomness of being able to go to an arcade and yes, everybody's playing. Um, maybe you would go with a friend or maybe not, but just the fact that everybody is there engaged in playing a game for 10 or 15 minutes versus today where, people play for hours,
Hmm.
the same game over and over and over again. I don't miss the money that I would spend on it, that's for sure. The quarters that you would put into the machines. Um, but when you consider a PlayStation is $500 just for the platform, and then the games are
Yeah.
almost $100 now. So, um, in retrospect, a quarter is not a big deal.
No.
But you're also, I would probably only be in the arcade for maybe half an hour, and go through $5 or $10, which isn't a lot of money, but it was back in the
Back then, yes,
mm,
100%. It.
late 70s, early 80s when I was going
Mhm.
to the arcades. So yeah,
But back then, $10, $15 now is
well,
seventy
it's
five bucks
sure,
to 100. It's quite a lot. But you know,
it's yeah, a big difference.
yeah. Um, do you miss going to the arcade in sense of um having that Arcadia smell versus being able to just go downstairs in your own home,
Wait,
Well,
what?
and turn
the
on
the
PlayStation?
so some
Ew.
arcades, the Arcadia smell is what he said. Now, some arcades did not
I feel like
smell very
arcades would
good.
smell like sweaty boys because they're
Yeah,
doing way too much trying to play games. I'm sorry, but that's
but
what I would imagine an arcade smells like.
so some arcades you were allowed to smoke in them, so there's that. So there's that smell. There would definitely be spilled drink on the floor, so there's that sticky, even if there's carpet, there's still that smell. Um, I wouldn't say it was a positive smell, but it was certainly a smell for sure. Sweaty boys, yeah, maybe. I think it's probably worse now. Um,
Probably, especially with
yeah,
the amount of boys nowadays that refuse to wear deodorant. I love that for
right.
me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yep. But you, you
Um,
you would have to agree now though that it's obviously a bonus to be able to turn on your computer or your phone and sit anywhere you
oh,
want and
sure,
being able to
absolutely.
play
Yes.
in
Play
the
whenever you want. Yes,
yeah
absolutely.
yeah
Yeah, assuming your internet is working, of
yeah
course. But yes,
Oh, don't get me started.
yeah
that is a huge bonus, is being able to do it when you want and for however long you want,
hmm
whether that be 20 minutes or 3 hours, or longer, whatever. It's depends upon your life, I guess, and what it is you've got going on. But that's certainly not something that you could have done in an arcade, because you're going to run out of money eventually.
hmm
Because it was only cash, so it had to be whatever the amount of cash was that you had on you, because this even predates, bank machines. So um, you would have to, go to a bank to actually withdraw cash to then go and get more money to play at the arcade. So
and it even
um,
predates credit cards.
yeah,
Credit cards only coming out
well,
in the 90s,
well, credit cards
mainstream
nowhere
at
around,
least.
but certainly no kids had them. That's for
hmm
sure. Not like now. Everybody has a credit card.
hmm
So, um, but it was, yeah, whatever cash you got in your pocket,
hmm
and that's it. That's all. So, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because that meant you could only be in there as long as you had cash in your pocket.
hmm
So
Now, you mentioned, you'd be in there for anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. How many games would you play?
if I was doing well on, let's say, Galaga,
If
um,
you're doing well, yeah,
yeah, then
yeah.
I might only play one game. Like multiple quarters in the same game.
hmm
But if I'm playing and it's really not going well, then chances are pretty good I'm going to switch over, playing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 machines. It depends upon whether I was in there to win or just waste time.
hmm
If I was getting frustrated, in that I put a quarter in and not even making it past the first level, kind of thing, um, I might leave because things aren't going well. Or, like I said, I might be there the full time, that until my money runs out, however long that happened to be. But um, half an hour, whatever. Like I said, depends upon how much money I had in my pocket, which was never a lot, but
hmm Now,
still. Yep.
do you regret getting a GameCube versus a Nintendo? I mean, I know that they're owned by the same company. Obviously, they're both
Yep.
Nintendo. But do you wish that you stayed with Nintendo 64? Um, or do you wish, or are you happy that you bought a GameCube and then moved on?
Never had a 64. Um, like, I went from the original Nintendo to a GameCube. And I think one of the selling features for the GameCube was that 4 people could play at the same time,
hmm
because it had 4 outlets for the controllers. Keeping in mind at that time everything was wired.
hmm
Even the PS2 was wired controllers.
Yeah,
So um, you
Bluetooth
know,
wasn't very big back then.
it wasn't a thing at all.
hmm
Um, so we bought the system based upon the fact that, as you said, you're the youngest of 4, that we could all play it.
hmm
Whether that was Mario or whatever, but just a game that we could all play together was one of the reasons why we got the GameCube. So, um, whereas I know today that that's not necessarily the reason why people get systems. They get them based upon, like, if you want to play Halo, well, then for sure you're getting an Xbox.
Yeah.
But if you don't care about Halo, then you know maybe you go for PlayStation, or maybe you still go for Xbox. But um, I honestly don't know the differences between the two systems anymore. I wasn't interested in playing Halo, so at the time, it didn't make a
Shame
difference
on
to
you.
me. Yeah, so
Gabby, we're a very big
Halo is
Sony.
literally my favorite game in the entire world.
We were a very big Sony family. We had a lot of PlayStation games.
Well, then here's my next question then. Out of all of the consoles that you've ever owned, which one has been your favorite?
mm, I really liked the Wii in that you were actually pointing at the person you were killing, with your hand, with the what is it, the nunchuck, whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
the
Um,
nunchuck gun attachment thingy.
yeah, yeah. We're actually using that, so it actually, it added a little bit more realism to it as opposed to the controllers now, where eh, obviously there's a sight, on your gun, but you're not pointing. Your controller could be pointed in the opposite direction and still obviously be connecting with the um, PlayStation to be able to control your weapon. But
Mhm.
um, that being said, I don't want to go back to the Wii. So, you
If
know,
you like the physical part of it, does that mean have you tried a VR?
I have not
I feel like you would
yet.
like that
Anyway,
then.
yeah, probably. But I just haven't yet. That's yeah.
He spends too much time um um running around and finding a good spot to sit on a map with an LMG to worry about a VR. Isn't that
Well,
right, Dad?
Well,
I
then I have a fun question then. So, obviously, today's world with gaming, when we start talking about like rage quitting, obviously today people are slamming keyboards, they're punching holes in their PCs, things like that. What would it be like back then? Like, what was more rage quitting? How was it so different?
I I don't think I'm trying to. Um, maybe the intensity. Yeah, no, I'm trying to.
Have you ever rage quit? What do you do?
I've been frustrated. I think maybe the worst thing I've ever done is probably thrown my controller.
I've never
Um,
heard that story.
but not like at the TV or anything. Just
So you
and
would
it's.
say like it's overly or it's definitely worse now than what it was back then.
I would say yeah, probably because
There's more things for people to break, or
I
just
think it's more intense now. So if you think of, I'll go back to the original Nintendo, playing Contra, you know, sure you would die and you'd have to keep playing, but because it's not online, the only way you're playing against somebody is if it's your partner. You never played against another person, so at least not on Contra. Um, so you're not getting frustrated with somebody else, whereas I think that's what happens today is because you're playing online, you're playing with other actual human beings. I realize it's still through the internet, but I think that makes it easier to get frustrated because you
Mhm,
are playing with real people and that.
mhm,
Um, but still, I personally I don't get frustrated when I game. I might get frustrated in that I'm losing, and then I'll just turn it off. I'll just realize, yep, no, this isn't working, and I'm just not gonna play, and I'll just, you know, log out, and that's it. I'm done. Um, but as far as throwing controllers, breaking your TV, all that other, yeah, no, I not for me. I get involved in my game, but not to the point where even if I lose, I need to get frustrated.
Right.
Other than just turning it off. That would be my highest level of frustration, would be just exiting, midway through a mission. That's it. So Yeah, sorry to disappoint on that, but I do I
Dang, I was
do
waiting for like the most dramatic story.
no, I don't even play I don't have my microphone on when I'm playing, and I tend to mute everybody because I'm not interested in listening to other people. Um, I find um, I find some people's comments. Some of them are extreme, but I do like listening to some people's comments when they say things like, "Oh my God, you stupid camper," and it's like, "Yes, I am, and I just killed you." So that's why you're frustrated because I'm actually no good and I just killed you. So that
For the viewers back at home, I am the person. I am the one he's talking about. I
right,
told him to
right.
stop camping. I'm joking.
And I consider a good game when I get one good headshot. Sure, I might have like a a, a, a KDA of like 3 to 12 or something. But if I had one good kill, I'm happy with that. Whereas I know for other people, if they don't have a KDA of like 29-4, they're not happy. But you know a good round for me is going you know level 9 and 9. Wow, that's great, good for me.
hmm hmm Now, even growing up with you and playing, um, Ghost as the earliest game that COD game that we played together. You being at the top of the leaderboard, um, it was it was really bad because in my mind that meant that our team really sucked because you are the type of person that only runs around with an LMG or maybe some high explosive weapon, right?
Sure,
You
like a noob tube. I love noob
exactly,
tubes,
yeah,
those are great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that even even back then, you also made those comments of wow, our team must have sucked, and you're up there at the top of the leaderboard. Rarely ever positive, but still up there at the top of the leaderboard.
Sure, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, growing up uh, around COD, um, do, do you think COD has changed for the better or for the worse?
I know. So I'm going to get confused here between COD and Modern Warfare, but I didn't like when COD or Modern Warfare, whichever one it was, when they went to the laser weapons and they did the flying and all that kind of stuff.
Black
I thought
Ops,
that was,
Black
yeah,
Ops, and
that's what it was. Yeah.
Advanced Warfare.
And I thought that was stupid. I thought, that was just ridiculous. My favorite um, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, whatever it is still World at War. I really liked that one. I've played it both on the Wii as well as on the PlayStation. I really enjoyed it because of the quote realism, because it's actually based upon um,
World War II.
the World War II, as opposed to um, something in 2150 where you're in space. And if I want to play a space game, I'll play a space game.
hmm
um, I just didn't think that Modern Warfare, Call of Duty would be about space. I thought they were all supposed to be human based on Earth, not fantasy based in another universe or whatever. I
hmm
do realize they have to sell games and they have to change things and they have to mix things up, and that's great. And what am I? I'm just one old guy that still plays games and whatever.
hmm
Um, but um, I like the fact that it hasn't really changed. I mean, I'm not trying to insult the manufacturers
The
of the game.
Activision devs here.
I
Right,
am.
absolutely. Because I'm sure they would say it has changed.
hmm
But what I mean by not changed is that the things that I like about it, I
The
still like
experience for
about it.
you hasn't changed.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The fact that, like, I know that with Battlefield, which is the game your brothers play, and I do like the things that it does. Like, for instance, you throw a grenade and it actually puts a hole in the wall. That's great. But in Call of Duty, that's not a thing. you throw a grenade into a room and the walls are still there. It just kills the people inside. I like that fact. I like the fact that you can shoot through a wall and turn your head and then look back and there's no bullet holes in the wall. I like that because it just, I don't know, it's what to be expected for that game. And I know that's one of the reasons why some people don't like it is because of that, but that's okay.
Now, when Vince died, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but um, when he died, the creator of
The
Modern
creator, yeah,
Warfare,
yeah.
and creator of some CODs, and then later went on to create other games, um, like Ark, and then went on to help oversee Battlefield. You know, you mentioned that you had no idea who he is.
I didn't know who he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And to be fair, I didn't either. I had no idea
yep.
who the hell he was. Um,
I mean, I don't follow the games closely enough to know who these people are. I know who manufactures the game. I know, I do read the title screen,
mhm,
but I don't read any of the creators. I don't know who any of them
mhm,
are. So
mhm.
yeah.
Now, if you could have met him, and at any point, um, is there something that you would ask him to change in Modern Warfare, um, either for the better or for the worse?
Hmm. One of the things one of the things that I don't like, um it came up the other day when I was playing with your brother, was the pay to win. I
Yep.
don't like that if you give $60, um, then you can get better guns and better ammo and better this and better that. And I don't like that part of the game. I realize that's what the business has become. I totally understand that.
Mhm,
But it I do find it frustrating because I'm not willing to pay extra money. I've given you $90 of my money plus a PlayStation, um, which I do realize goes to Sony, but a PlayStation membership to play the game online. I shouldn't have to give you more money if I want a specific gun or a specific operator or
mhm,
whatever. Um, sure, if you want to buy skins and all that kind of stuff, whatever, who cares? But that's not for me. Um, I don't think it's fair that you can, drop hundreds of dollars and you automatically are, well, you're not necessarily a better player, but you certainly have better equipment right from day one than somebody else who doesn't pay that money.
mhm.
Um,
Somebody like us who doesn't care to, because it changes the experience, and it no
right.
longer gives that
I'm
authentic feel.
sorry, did he say it was $90?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
$90 for the
here
game
here in
to buy the
Canada, yeah,
game. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
89.99 for
yeah,
the
so
I
plus
know that
taxes coming
Canada is
out to
different than
like
America, but holy crap.
yeah,
so what does it cost for a game for a new game?
So for
Mm,
Call of Duty here is 60.
Okay, 69,
No.
59.99 or
59.99.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
59.99.
Okay.
Yeah, so even after tax for here, Gabby, you're coming out to $97 or even 105 sometimes, depending on the creator um of the game. Even uh, for some games it's a lot better to pay for the
Or no, no,
digital
no. I'm
version.
sorry. I said that backwards. They should be 69.99, not 59.99.
Okay.
But even then,
69.
I still feel like
Yeah.
I still feel like that's a lot different.
S-
Hmm.
it
I
is only
can't
20.
English.
It's $20. And the exchange rate, I mean, the American dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar.
Hmm.
We're at about 25 cents uh less. So
On the
that's,
dollar.
yeah. So we're about, somewhere in the high, sorry, the the low to mid 70s cents
That's just
for
crazy to me. Like, I know that there's a difference. It's just hearing that is just so weird sometimes.
Hmm.
'Cause I'm always like, "Holy crap, that's a lot." But then I always forget that ours is
yeah,
technically less
Yeah,
because of the
right.
difference of the money.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whether it's $70 or $90, I
Hmm.
mean, it's still, it's still a lot of money.
Hmm.
Um, regardless which way you go, but especially when they drop the prices after 2 months, the prices can sometimes get cut in half if they didn't sell well.
But even then,
um
the prices aren't always good. Uh, you know, even for a holiday sale recently, I've been seeing prices of only $75, and it's like, okay, well, that's still cheaper than the $90, but it's
sure.
still horrible
So
because
did Call of Duty back then have all the add-ons and also like the battle passes and stuff?
It did have some of the battle passes, but not as many as it does now. It wasn't as big a deal as it is now. um all of the extras, if you will. The fact that I can buy a skin and be Snoop Dogg when I'm playing Call of Duty. It's like,
That is so weird to me still.
hmm
I still can't stand that.
no,
you know
it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
it's
Like the
different
Nicki
if
Minaj
you
skin, that bright
sure.
pink
Yeah,
uh,
outfit in a Call of Duty game.
yeah.
it's different if you earn it, but when it's about buying
Hmm.
things, it's, I don't know, that's not gameplay.
Hmm.
That's a cash. But I do understand that's what the industry is.
Hmm.
I'm not, poo-pooing the industry. I get it. They need to make money. It's not just about the initial buying the game for the $70 or $90, whatever it is. It's the continuing to make money on the game for the whole time that you're playing it, whether that be a year or less.
Hmm.
That you keep buying the upgrades, but not the upgrades, but the
The
battle
battle pass. Yeah.
passes and, yeah, and everything else.
Now,
The Snoop Dogs or whatever it is you want
yeah,
to buy.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if you could, would you? Excuse me. Would you um you know add a side to Call of Duty that is separate from the people who want to play with battle passes and people who don't care about it and only want the authentic, you know,
That's interesting. Like if there
no
was
battle
a
pass feel where it's no special skins, there's no special laser weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, maybe, just like you can decide whether to play cross-platform.
Hmm.
You don't want to, like, you can choose to play only people who are playing on the PlayStation versus people who are playing on a computer.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you can choose that when you play. So it would be, yeah, that would be an interesting option to, press the button or click the box that allows you to, either play with everybody or only play with people who have, upgraded, or people who have not upgraded,
Hmm.
whatever. Um, just to keep it, I don't know what they would call it, more
Original.
um, original, maybe. Yeah. The OG, as they say, versus
Oh God.
versus the new, um, buying everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, obviously, um, you know, both both of my older brothers, your sons, both play Battlefield.
Yeah.
Do you regret getting into Battlefield or no?
Not getting into it or getting into it?
Not getting into it.
Um, no, because I find that it's too realistic for me. Um, because one of the things I like
I'm
about
actually
Call of
glad that was
Duty,
a comment.
uh, um, I I I I like the fact that I can shoot somebody in the feet and kill them, whereas in Battlefront, sorry, you can't.
Battlefield.
Battlefield, sorry, it's not the same thing. I do think you also takes longer to recover, does it not? You actually have to heal.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah. So
it does
it's
take
more
longer,
realistic.
but
Yeah.
but you also have the ability to quick heal with
Right.
a med
With
kit.
a med pack and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, for sure. Whereas with Call of Duty, yes, you could use a med pack to heal quicker, but you can also shoot somebody like I do 7 times in the foot and kill them. So you know that's
Wait, 7 times. Does that mean that you're a core player?
a what?
A core, not hardcore, but core.
Yes.
Okay. What? Sorry. What's the difference?
So
So
hardcore is like a one shot, one kill.
Oh
Core
yeah,
is
no,
like you have to shoot them a couple times.
yeah, no, definitely. That's why I have a gun with lots of bullets. So
So the issue with him, Gabby, is that if he were to play hardcore, he would be running
You
to a
also wouldn't know the
spot.
map.
That too,
yes,
yes, he'd be running to a spot, immediately get shot and die, and be like, "Okay, I'm done. This is
right.
stupid."
And that's it. Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yep.
one of the
I'm a
reasons I don't
hardcore
like.
player. I can't play core.
Yeah. See, I prefer to just play team deathmatch, as opposed to playing like kill confirmed or
Domination,
any
capture the flag,
domination or any
search
of
and
those
destroy.
I
other
can't
any of
stand
those
domination.
others.
I love cyber.
I love
Yeah.
domination.
I like just I guess core team deathmatch. We used to play zombies together when it first
Yes.
came out.
I love zombies. Don't get me
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. When zombies first
Well,
came out,
back
we used
then.
to play that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Back.
I like zombies back then. I hate how it is now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zombies
I haven't
back.
played.
Back on Black Ops 2. When zombies was actually good.
Didn't have to do all the freaking Easter eggs. You
Yeah.
just had to
I
go to
mean, you
mystery
still had
box
Easter
and just
eggs,
Yeah.
but you had the
right. It's
Easter
not
egg ending
now.
and then also the original ending too. And now it's only the Easter egg ending, which you could really just say is the original ending because there is no alternative ending.
I just think it's too much now. There's way too much
hmm
versus how it was back then. It was so much
Yeah.
easier with zombies and a lot more fun.
Yeah. Well, it was fun playing. We would play together. I don't think it was. Was it split screen or were you
It
playing?
was.
It was split screen, was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's got to be hard
And
though.
but
Not really.
but at least then you're doing it together, so
Yeah.
you could
You could help each
stand
other.
back to back and kill zombies on either side of the
Now,
of the map or whatever. But
playing, split screen TDM, that was difficult, right? It because you're not necessarily in the same area, only shooting the undead. You can be across the map, and shooting somebody, and you need to figure out which one of you guys is being shot at, versus okay, that's a zombie, I can see it here behind me, I'm gonna run the other way.
but if you're playing together, you're hopefully talking.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you're in the same room playing split screen, that's one thing. But if you're playing, in a party, even if you're not together, you're at least telling the other person where you got shot from, or,
Mhm.
watch out for the sniper in the window or whatever.
Mhm.
It's whatever. But
I was talking more so of like having it smaller on your screen.
yeah, that is sure.
Yes.
Especially when you didn't necessarily have a big screen.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Now,
because it
Gabby, like for us, you know, um, when my dad and Tristan would play together, we only had uh, uh, 1080p was pretty much HD back then. It was the 4K of the early 2000s. That was the big deal, right? It's a big TV. It's not thick, but it's not thin. It's right in the middle, and that's what they would play on. Um, Granted, it still looked horrible versus
well,
now.
sure compared to today, but
Yep.
I think we were playing on maybe a 40 inch, maybe
Mhm.
possibly a 50.
I
But
could never. My eyes are too bad.
of course, as soon as you go split screen, then now you're,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it also, I'm trying to remember if split screen was always top and bottom,
It
or
was.
whether it actually, I think it was. I think it was other games like the racing games we used to
Mhm.
play, like
Super Mario, that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that would be split screen, but it would be
down the middle.
yeah,
Yeah,
instead of
top and bottom.
horizontal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, the smaller screen definitely changes things, especially when you're old like me. So but
hmm
as everybody wears glasses now, so nobody's vision is great anymore. So
hmm
you got
Yeah,
to have a big TV.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even now with how cheap technology is becoming, having a bigger screen is becoming more affordable. Sure, it
Yeah,
definitely isn't uh, affordable in the sense of being everybody in the world can have one. No, but it is definitely a lot cheaper than you know
sure. Everybody's got
2010, 2015.
50 plus 50-inch TV.
hmm
Everybody, it's
Yeah,
just the way it is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You don't have to call me out like that.
Gabby, look, we know you play on your little microwave screen there. It's okay.
Yeah.
um.
I have double monitors, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
well, then that's, yeah. When you split screen, you could do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it definitely is becoming more affordable nowadays versus having uh, a TV brick, literally a brick,
Yeah.
um, for a TV where it took up a lot of space, and you need to have this really big stand for it. Now it could be this stand that fits up against the wall. It'll take up the whole wall. You can hang
Or
things from it
yeah,
and books and
it just
whatnot.
mounts on the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Do you miss that retro feel of having you know the the snow on the TV? Um,
No,
minus the sound because
not
the
at
sound is
all.
horrible
No, no.
versus being able to just
I
turn
do
it on and
remember.
having it instantly play.
I remember when you first, like when you'd first buy like the Nintendo, depending upon what system, what type of TV you had, uh, what came in the box was all of these adapters and
hmm
whatever, so that you could plug it into the whatever TV you had.
hmm
Now everybody has HDMI,
hmm
so that's the standard, and I don't even think the HDMI even comes in the box anymore
I
when you buy a PlayStation. It might, but it's so common. That's all they have now.
mhm.
But when you even the PlayStation 2, because I still have it in the basement,
You
um,
still have a
it
PlayStation 2 in the basement.
yeah, it came with all these adapters so that you could plug it into the cable outlet of the back of your TV, or if you were lucky enough to have the RCA jacks in the back of your TV,
hmm
you could do that. But like I said, now it's HDMI. It's just
hmm
one cable. You've got a power cord and an HDMI, and that's all you've got now.
hmm
So that
Minus
certainly
your
makes
charging
things
cables for the
so much easier.
controllers. Um,
Sh-
but
Sure,
yeah,
but yeah, now those are just. I mean,
they're
they
pretty
used to
universal.
be.
They're USB
Well,
Type C's now.
they're just USB. Yeah. Whereas they used to be something different, that you have to have a special cable or a special adapter or whatever to be able to charge whatever chargers. Like I remember the Wii, it actually ran on batteries,
hmm
which was a pain because you either go through a lot of um, AA batteries, or you have a lot of rechargeables
Yep.
that you have to get.
Yep.
I do realize that all the controllers are rechargeables, but the batteries are built in, and
hmm Yeah.
I'm assuming they're
Or you could get one of the Wii branded battery sets that gave you another back for it too,
right.
but it also had the ability
But then
to
you have to
charge on a
spend,
stand.
yeah, you had to
Yeah.
spend another $60 or something
Yeah.
on that, and that
Yeah.
was, yeah. Whereas now you're good to go right out of the box.
hmm
So although the controllers cost a lot of money, but still, they
hmm
haven't come down in price.
No, I would.
But
Would you definitely agree that controllers um have stayed the same in sense of the feel and how
the
you hold
feel,
them?
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They haven't. you look at a PS2 controller versus the PS4. I know the PS5 is a little bit bigger, but it's still pretty much, they haven't really changed them that much since they came out. As opposed to the original Nintendo was like the controller you had was just this square thing, with the A/B button and the directional buttons, and it was awkward to hold because it's smaller than your phone, but thicker than your phone. And it was awkward. It wasn't comfortable to play. Whereas now the controllers are, I guess, what they would call ergonomic.
Yeah.
So it's definitely meant for playing longer.
Instead of those quick 15-minute sessions, blow through a couple missions, pause it,
Right.
and then run outside and play for 6 hours or until
Whatever.
your curfew, and then you come in, eat dinner, and go to bed, repeat.
Yeah.
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 You mentioned growing up with the PS2, and the Wii and the GameCube. Besides Contra and COD, um, um, is there a specific feel for controller that you would like more over the other if you could mix and match any of those systems controllers with another?
I don't think so. I've become very like the PlayStation. Like I said, the only change that I can think of between the PS2 and the PS4 controller, apart from being wireless, I think the controller itself is a little bit bigger, but it's not drastically bigger. I don't like having too many buttons. I mean, it has a lot of buttons, but it's not like um I like I said before, I like the, shooting with the Wii, but at the same time, um it was also a pain,
Yeah,
because
because you had to hold it in a
you
very
had to have this
specific
thing.
way.
Right, you had to have it strapped to your wrist, otherwise it would go through your TV, so we were lucky that never happened,
Uh-huh.
or you were lucky that never happened, because that certainly would have been the end of gaming. But
Yep.
I know people who have done it, so it just, that yeah. I've never played an Xbox, but even then the controllers are very similar. Um, that ergonomic, I don't even know what the shape is. I don't know what they call
It's
that, but
it's the same shape as I would say it's the same shape as the PS5 controller, just
sure.
your
Yeah.
thumbsticks are in a different spot.
Yeah. And when you compare that to like when you were at an arcade,
Hmm.
when you're dealing with a joystick and a bunch of buttons, you can certainly do more
Hmm.
with the controllers than you could in an arcade, because you were limited to usually like four buttons and a joystick with maybe a fire button,
Hmm.
and that would be about it. That's all you could do. So you could certainly do more things now than you could in the past, for sure. But it's not too many things,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Um, like I always thought that it would be too confusing for me, because I'm old and old school as well, that playing on a computer, not that it's limitless, but that you can press all these different
Hmm.
function keys to be able to change this and that, which I'm sure is a bonus.
Hmm.
Um, but for somebody who doesn't like to think too much when you're playing a game,
Hmm.
um, I like the simplicity of however many buttons it has. What is that? Four, and then the directionals, and then so
8 on top,
six.
and then
Yeah,
another 4 in the back,
yeah. I I like the
plus your
simplicity of it.
thumbsticks. Yeah.
Plus your actual direction. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Gabby, um, um, you mentioned that you really like Halo. And my
Yee.
dad has obviously mentioned that his favorite game growing up was Contra.
Not Halo.
Yeah. Not Halo.
Not Halo. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have to say about that?
I liked your dad until now.
You
Just
liked them
kidding.
before you found out it wasn't Halo?
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Well, here's my thing though, is it's very common for people not to like Halo. The only reason why I'm saying that is, as I've stated before in our previous episodes as well as our very last episode as well, because I even said this in the one with
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah.
And for me, it's people look at Halo as just a sci-fi game. They don't understand everything because they don't stop to understand the lore of it.
Hmm.
So, if you're more invested into Halo as far as the story, perspective goes, then you would come to realize that they really do put so much into that game, and then it makes you more invested into it because it's, a story behind the game.
Hmm.
I know that some games as well are also like that, but until you actually know the storyline behind it, you don't get into it as much.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm okay with understanding that other people have different opinions just because they don't know about it.
Hmm.
I
Now,
guess my
However,
only
I'm still
like
not happy about it.
I don't have an issue with Halo. It certainly looks interesting. The only reason I never got into it is because it was on the wrong system. And I'm only saying the wrong system in that it's the
Because you're not an
system
Xbox
I
player.
didn't because it's the system I didn't own. That's all.
Mhm.
That's the only thing. Like if it was available on the PlayStation, I would have bought it for sure. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. Halo is one of the very few games that is only available on one system. Correct,
Yes, one hundred
except
percent.
for Mario. Except for
Yes,
Mario,
yes
of
and
course,
no.
which is
So,
also
Um,
so
you can
Nintendo
actually
stuff.
purchase
But
Halo now through Steam,
oh,
yes,
can you?
but
Okay.
but back then, Halo
but
is
yes,
is and was an
not growing
exclusive
up.
Yeah.
Xbox game.
It is an exclusive
Originally,
Xbox
yeah.
game and has only been able to be played through Xbox. Only
Right.
recently, I don't know exactly the date. I just know it's been recently is whenever it got added to Steam where they got the okay to put it on Steam.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Which is a great selling feature for Microsoft. I mean, that's a great thing for them to
Hmm.
do that because you know
Yeah, because I have all the Xbox games and
sure
also all of them on Steam.
you right. Yep. So yeah, I don't have an issue with Halo. I've just never played it. That's all. Like it's just
Right.
Now,
um
do you think that you would have played Halo, even knowing how Call of Duty would turn out and all that? Do you think that you would have played it if it was available on the PlayStation?
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially since it was so popular. I mean, that's the other thing. It's not like it was only a certain group of people that played it.
Hmm.
Everybody played. Everybody who had an Xbox
Hmm.
pretty much had an Xbox because they could play Halo. That
Hmm.
was really, the reason why people bought an Xbox.
Hmm.
If it was available on PlayStation when we first got the PlayStation, sure, I would have bought it for sure. Um,
Right.
but yeah, and now, I might look into it, but then again, it seems to be just when I start getting comfortable with a game, which is usually after about a year, that's when the next one comes out. So
Hmm.
it's like you know um, everybody peaks usually within a couple of weeks of a game coming out. I take a couple of months to peak, so
Hmm.
I
Now,
certainly don't get bored with it, but
hmm hmm now obviously you definitely growing up with gaming as it is, how it's turned out and everything. Um, um, do you wish that it has turned out differently in the sense of the community, the environment, that sort of stuff?
um, differently.
Because
I
uh,
don't. I don't think so. I don't. It's to the best of my knowledge, the gaming community is not like the internet,
Mhm.
where as an adult, as a teacher, as a parent, the internet is scary and dangerous.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that, um, things haven't happened to people who game, in the gaming community.
Mhm.
But I think, to the best of my knowledge, that both Sony and Xbox, sorry, Nintendo, um, that they've done a really good job of keeping things, I'll just say safe,
Mhm.
with air quotes. Um, in that they do a pretty good job of policing themselves,
Mhm.
um, to keep their members safe,
Mhm.
um, as opposed to the internet, where it is literally the Wild West and anything can go wrong, and obviously usually does.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I don't think I would have wanted anything different.
Mhm.
Um, any changes? Not that I can think of anyway. Like I said, I'm not an expert in all of the um, finite details of
Mhm.
the gaming world, but like I said, I haven't heard of anything.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why it leads me to believe that, you know, safety would be the number one thing that I would be concerned about.
Would you say
Um,
that there's definitely areas that they can improve on to make it safer? Whereas, for instance, right now, um, not sure if you followed or not, but Roblox, um, it has a very massive predator issue right now.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, um, um, would you say that you know Sony and Microsoft are doing better than Roblox in terms of tackling predator issues and keeping the general public safe the best they can witut using AI?
Like I said, I think so. Mostly because I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Hmm.
I could be totally wrong, but I haven't heard of issues with either this with either Sony or Microsoft with their gaming um communities.
Hmm.
I have heard about Roblox and others, yes, that's a thing. Um, I I don't know the reasoning, like if there's a specific reason why, if it's because it's, something that's more on your phone platform,
Hmm.
and a computer platform as opposed to a um, PlayStation or a Xbox. I
Hmm.
don't know the answer to that. Um, but like I said, I think I can be corrected, of course, but um, I guess not having heard anything is probably a good thing.
Hmm. Now,
So
Gabby has a quick question, but before Gabby asks her question, um, obviously, you growing up and raising kids that pretty much grew up with gaming.
yeah.
Um, is there anything that you would have changed differently in sense of um, bringing us into gaming so fast, or slow it down and um, um, uh, what's the word? Allowing us to wet our feet and hoping that other parents have done that too.
I don't think that it was too fast. Of course, you were the youngest, so
Hmm.
that does change things. But I don't think I don't think I would change. Make it go slower.
Hmm.
Certainly, there's no reason to make it go faster. That's for sure. We did limit gameplay, and the fact that the internet um, wasn't really the thing as far as gameplay. Like there were certainly lots of games that you could play without connecting to a network.
Hmm.
Um, that obviously makes a difference. Whereas now, who plays campaigns anymore? Everybody wants multiplayer. So things have definitely changed.
I still play campaign.
No, I know, but it's not usually the reason why people are buying the game anymore.
Mhm.
They're buying it for the online
Yeah.
play. They're not buying it for the campaign. Um, so things have changed with regards to anybody who buys the game now. The first thing you do is go online.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be the first thing you did was play the campaign, and
Mhm.
then maybe you would go online.
Mhm.
That kind of thing. Um, but as far as speed, no, we did it as a family, and we did keep it away from you. So
Mhm.
there is that. I mean, you still have to be a responsible parent,
Mhm.
and if that means taking the controllers away, um, or the power cord or whatever, so that your child doesn't play,
Mhm.
even if it's not online. There are other things that people have to do or need to do, like homework, for instance.
Mhm. Something I never
As a
did.
teacher, of course, I have to say that. But even if you don't have homework, you still have to have time where you're not plugged into
Mhm.
technology. I mean, nobody watches television anymore. Everybody only, goes online and
N-
does whatever. So,
Now, do you as a teacher think that kids nowadays are, uh, for lack of better terms, being thrown into the deep end of the internet and having free reign on whatever they do?
I certainly see that kids are connected to their devices, their phones, for sure.
Mhm.
However, it's not games. It's Snapchat, Instagram, all that. It's social networking that they're plugged into all the time.
Mhm.
Um, it doesn't mean they don't play games on their phones. Yes, they do, but it's the fact that they don't have. I I personally find that students they're not well, young people, we'll say
Mhm.
that, um, having thoughts of their own, being able to spend time where they're not connected, um, with a device, and be able to say that they're bored.
Mhm.
If you don't have a phone for half an hour, I find people, not just kids, not just youth, but people in general, say that they're bored because
Mhm.
they don't have a device. And it's like, well, you used to be able to just look out the window. So,
Yeah.
and
Back in my day, we didn't have
yeah,
any of that.
that's right. Back
You
in my
know,
day,
we,
yeah,
we went around throwing bricks at each other and stuff like
right,
that, you know?
right, yeah. No, I'm not talking about that bad, but definitely, having people be able to have conversations um, is something that, because of devices, has definitely changed.
Mhm.
People don't
Mhm.
just, have thoughts of their own. Well, let me look it up and see what. Yeah, no, that's the whole point. Is I want you to think.
Mhm.
That's the whole. Yes, absolutely. I can use AI to do something for
Mhm.
myself. Absolutely, I know I
Oh
can do that.
goodness, yeah. Let me
But
pull up Chat GBT real
right,
quick.
right. But the whole point is to be able to figure out how to do it yourself.
Mhm.
Then you can use Chat GPT or whatever else, um,
Mhm.
to do it after. It's, yes, I think about, when I was growing up, calculators were fairly new in the world, and you weren't allowed to use them
Yeah.
because you had to figure out how to do the math yourself first. Then you could use a calculator.
Mhm.
And that's really what's happening now is, yes, you can use something to figure out how to spell a word, something
Mhm.
as simple as spelling a word. Yes, it's literally right there.
Mhm.
But I hand out a paper dictionary now, and the students, they don't know how to use it. And it just, well, if I knew how to spell the word, I wouldn't have to look it up. But
Mhm.
that's the whole point, is
Mhm.
that, you use a paper dictionary to look it up because it's part of the brain process, but we don't process anymore. So,
Yeah. Gabby,
yeah.
you said
But
you had a
that's a
question.
whole other conversation that can go on for weeks. And
I love the way that he
yeah,
says certain words.
yeah.
I do so much.
Uh-huh.
especially process. He says process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the Britishness coming out
Or
with a Canadian accent, I
yeah,
should
a
say.
Canadian accent. Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't have accents.
we definitely do, but
No,
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't.
we do.
Everybody else does.
I don't think that you guys have an accent per se. I think it's more so just the way you guys say certain words.
That's an accent.
Yep, that's fair. Well, not necessarily. It's the way we
No, because you
pronounce.
guys sound normal. You guys, so a lot of people say that Americans on why they sound so different is because they enunciate everything.
You guys do.
And I feel like you guys also enunciate everything. It's just there's certain things
We
that
enunciate
you guys
less.
do say
In a different way.
that
Yeah.
that it's just different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I ask my question now?
Yes.
Yes.
I did have a question. Okay. I gotta figure out how to say this correctly.
Well, you have an English
So
teacher, so
as don't tell me that,
you want to go
sir,
back to school.
I'm gonna end up leaving this classroom right now. Okay, so
Mhm.
as everyone knows, Noah and I are both streamers. We both, like to stream on the side as well as doing, the podcast. And, streaming has always been a thing back then, but obviously it has evolved. So, how do you feel about how it is now compared to what it was?
Well, non-existent before, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but
I mean,
like
like, I think more so of like now it's everywhere. Everyone's doing it. The amount of money that you make, the whole sorry, of
Yeah.
how you put everything together
Yeah.
is, just so different.
like back then, I guess what Gabby's saying by back then is uh you had to physically, you know, get people in your area to come out and watch you, or
Right.
to find a way to get it onto TV.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you could have something on a community channel for sure. You could make a movie, but now things are just so simple. I mean, I don't want to sound like a commercial for the iPhone, but I think one of their greatest commercials is, it's not just one of them, but the
Not
the
sponsored, by the way.
Yeah.
the Apple commercial that is filmed using an iPhone. I think that's brilliant. I mean, what a great way to sell a product, by showing how easy it is to make something like a commercial, using just what comes with your phone. And I do realize Google and every other Android phone maker, they do have similar stuff as well. But you look at what, like, I used to be a professional photographer, and the materials, the physical,
Paper copies.
the physical devices, the cameras, the flashes, the wiring, everything that I used to have in order to take pictures is now, it's just on your phone. All of that is on your phone now. And that's the same as if you want to be a streamer. That's all you need is a phone. Sure, I know you're probably going to have ring lights and you probably have a separate microphone but you don't have to. You can do all of that
It
with
definitely
your
looks
phone.
better.
Sure, but all the editing software, everything is now, it's downloadable and mostly free. Whereas that wasn't the case. So anybody who wanted to do something, wanted to be in media in some way, it usually cost money, because they would have to buy a video camera, and then they'd have to buy the tapes, and then they'd have to have the machines to do the editing with, and all of this other stuff. And then also you'd have to then get it out to the people, however that happened to work. Now, streaming is simple. I, I'm not trying to say that what you guys do is simple, but it's certainly easier than what it used to be. You don't necessarily have to have, it's not a complicated process anyway, Um, unlike
Now you're gonna keep saying that just because I said something.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's exactly
Unlike
what
in
he's
the
gonna do.
past
And
where,
and you know what he's gonna do,
yeah,
Gabby, is next time when I see him too, he's next time when he says it, he's
process.
gonna
Yeah.
say it again. And it's gonna make me
Yes.
mad, so thank you.
How you process
Just like
this or
like he
process that.
says Mario. I'm not
Yeah.
used to
Right.
that because we say Mario.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Enunciate.
But even I stream a lot of TED Talks for my class.
Ooh, love that.
And they're so simple now
Mhm.
compared to even 15 years ago, which I realize, maybe for some of
Now
your
you can show
listeners
your
even
class that you're on
is
YouTube.
right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a real thing. I mean, podcasts, they weren't things. You had to, um, you wanted to listen to somebody, you had to subscribe to their radio channel, let's say, and now, who listens to the radio? Let's just go with that. Let alone,
It's
you know,
definitely a dying
it's a
generation.
streaming. Yeah, everything is streaming now.
Mhm.
So, it's quite the difference. It's actually one of the assignments, one of the final assignments that I'm giving my English students is they're creating a podcast. So it's just become mainstream because it's so simple to do. Um, it would be like back in the day. Here we go. Make a poster,
Mhm.
for the class. So
Gosh,
everybody
I
would go
remember
and
making
buy.
those.
Right. Everybody would go and buy those big, billboard, not billboard, those big pieces of
Cardboard
paper.
from
Those,
Dollarama.
right. Absolutely. Or Dollar King or wherever.
Mhm.
And they would use it once and, but it was just for this assignment and they, do all this coloring. But now
It's all digital.
it's all digital,
Mhm.
which is great. It certainly makes things easier because, speaking as somebody who doesn't have a lot of artistic ability, making something like a poster would always be challenging for me.
Mhm.
But now, I look at the difference between using like Canva, for instance, and like a Google PowerPoint, sorry, a Google slide presentation. Uh, Canva, it's so user friendly.
Mhm.
Not that Google isn't. I use it all the time, but there's just such a big difference, and it's free.
Mhm.
And it's like, what a difference. It just is so incredible. YouTube, it's a free platform. Everybody has it. It comes with your phone.
It
It
comes with your
comes with
Google
my
account.
TV. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because it's owned by Google now,
Yeah.
but it comes with your TV, and that's incredible. That YouTube comes as an app now on your TV
Mhm.
is huge because it used to be something you'd have to download on your computer in the past, but now, of course, it's all Chrome based or whatever. So it just potentially uh, such a great world.
Mhm.
The fact that you can learn anything on the internet now
Mhm.
is potentially a great thing.
Well, since you brought up, your class creating a podcast, well, now you have an example of a podcast,
Right.
one that you've been on, um, that you could show them. Gabby, does that answer your question?
That definitely answers my question. And if you show the class, hi class.
we hope because we would love the views. But no, do you think that how gaming and technology has changed even in the classroom? Do you think it has changed for the better or for the worse?
Oh, for sure, for the better, but um, there is a downside to it,
Hmm.
and that is the fact that we have become too reliant on it, and we can't, or we don't.
Hmm.
It's not that we can't. It's that we don't think for ourselves anymore. We don't problem solve.
Hmm.
And I know some people don't have an issue. They, I'm just an old man and what do I know? And, whatever. And it's the way of the world. And absolutely that it is. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have technology, but we just go down any rabbit hole. uh, I'm just going to use fake news for an example, nothing specific, but just that the world has become so um what am I what word am
Dependent
I
on
thinking of?
technology.
Yes, but that there's so much fake news around that we don't we don't question it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't able to discern between what's fake and what's real anymore. And we're not even talking some high quality fake news. It could be just something that literally
Some
anybody could make in their basement now.
Russian
It
AI
just
bot
is,
that posts something on
right,
Twitter.
sure, whatever. Like, it doesn't even have to be, for devious reasons. It could just be, the house hippo one, for example. It looks real. It looks absolutely real. And it was meant as a joke and the whole thing. And yeah, absolutely. But what I'm getting at is that when people watch that, they should be able to know that it's a joke. They should be able to know that the point of that was just to make people laugh. It was just for entertainment purposes only. But now when people look at anything, they don't. They think it's real, or at least they don't think it's meant as a joke or whatever. I know some of it isn't meant as a joke, but they aren't able to problem solve and think for 2 seconds and realize that what you just watched isn't real. Like, I was looking at a video the other day of a car crash, and I guess I showed it to your brother, and it was this car accident in Ohio that happened in the snowstorm that happened the other day, and I could tell it was fake because because I watched it more than once. But when a car hits another car, there's damage done to both cars. But that wasn't happening in this video that was being shown. So that said to me right away it was fake. But other people would look at that and they wouldn't necessarily think that it was fake, because I'm using, process, however you want to pronounce it, that it's, there's something not right here. There's no damage. The cars are bouncing off each other. They don't do that. They do, of course, when they collide, and I'm not even getting into the physics part of it, where eh, something hits something else, both of them are going to have to move. Just the fact that it didn't look realistic. And that's something that I think a lot of people, they don't do, is problem solve. Look at something and think that it possibly might not be real. Which, to be fair, that is one of the reasons why I do enjoy gaming, though. There's a full circle, is because I know it's not real.
Yeah.
That is the whole thing, is that
You're able
yes, I
to
play.
distinguish
Absolutely.
from realism too.
I play first person shooters, but I've never, ever in my whole life ever touched a gun in my life, and I'm not interested. It's not something that something that interests me. However, I love first person shooters, because it's not real. And I know that. I have no desire to actually pick up a gun, but that's me.
Yep.
It certainly isn't. I've played them long enough. I certainly am not one of these people that believes that the more you play these violent games, the more violent you are. I don't believe that for a second. That's not something that I think about at all. But the other side of, because it's not real, that's why. Whereas, AI and the internet and the way things are going now, it's harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not. That's, you
Now,
have to be able to discern from the two.
Before we wrap things up, Gabby, do you have anything final to say?
Not that I can think of. I feel like all my questions were answered.
Okay. Well, Dad, thank you for joining us. Um,
Yeah.
I think that our viewers can definitely learn a lot from the older generation.
Sure, yeah.
That's
Older,
wild.
the older generation. Well, let
um,
me be, before you do
If you're looking for a new kid, I'm here.
cut me off. So one of the things that I do with my students is I do tell them that I play Call of Duty, and I
Oh
do tell
no.
them that I'm not very good. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because now there's another side too, actually, is that now it gives me a connection to them, because most students see old guys, as just old guys. What do we know? I don't know a lot, absolutely, but I do play, first person shooters. And it used to be mostly the males, but now more and more females are playing.
It gives them that
Um,
level that they
it
connect
gives
you to
Yeah,
on a
that
personal level,
absolutely.
rather
Yep.
than
And that
just,
does make a big
you
difference. And
know,
I'm not saying that their parents don't play, but a lot of their parents don't play. Um, um, but I do tell them I'm not very good. I don't try and sell myself as, oh yeah, I'm a rock star. I'm so good at, I'm not.
You better
I'm
start telling
terrible.
them to 1v1 you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is a thing. I can't play any of them, so we are actually not allowed. So,
yeah,
which
that's
is
heavily illegal.
yeah. Well, we can't now because of the chat component. It
Yeah.
used to be different when there was no chat component, but now that there's a chat component, we're not allowed to play. So,
Yep.
which I don't have a problem with. So I don't want to play with my students, so it's fine.
Well,
Uh, when I leave the classroom, I don't need to see them again. That's okay. So, uh, but anyway,
Bye.
yeah,
yep,
exactly.
yep,
Yes,
yep,
that's exactly what
yep.
it is. Yeah.
But yes, thank you for coming and joining us.
All right.
Yes, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Um, we hope that maybe next time, you can come join us. Whether that be in a month, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah, and
But
I'll 1v1 you.
but the door's
Yeah.
always open. Um, for everybody out there, somewhere in this video there has been uh, sponsorship. Please go get it. We got a channel sponsorship now. W, thank you.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But yeah, thank you for coming out, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
In the land of the maple, where the stories unfold. Podcast vibes, every word, pure gold. Laughter and knowledge, we share every week. That Canadian podcast, it's the truth that we speak. Tune in with the crew, hear the beat drop. Voices of the North, we just can't stop. That Canadian podcast, come take a ride. Voices united, we're filled with pride. Stories and laughter, let's share our way. From coast to coast, this is our play.